Here at my home in the Hollywood Hills, I wanted to record this quick video for the 500,000 or so men that are my customers on my websites. I read this book, The Natural, by Richard LaRuina. Pretty interesting book by a famous pickup artist from England. Thought you might find a few interesting tips here. He builds his whole system around this 3-character inaction approach. So he says you have to play 3 roles whenever you meet a beautiful woman. First, Mr. Sociable. That's where you keep everything light, fun, charming. He says then you move to this next role, Mr. Comfort. So you need to find things that you have in common with the woman. That's the main goal there. Try to create some level of comfort so that you can move into the last role, which is Mr. Seducer. Become mysterious, exciting, focus on arousal, kind of a James Bond approach. He says the way you start this is with a strong alpha presence. So he says 3 steps. Legs. Make sure you stand with your feet wider apart than normal. Second, hands. Don't fidget. So he says touch your thumb against your index and middle finger and let them fall by your side. Lastly, eyes. Don't look down. He says don't go crazy with eye contact, but don't look down. So after you understand this, he talks about approaching women. He says there's weak body language approaches. He gives this example. He says do not stand straight, feet forward, face forward towards a woman. Also don't stoop and kind of come under her. He says the best approach is this one, where your feet are pointed the opposite direction and you're looking over your shoulder at the woman. This gives her the most comfort. Thought that was interesting. He says if you approach women that are sitting, that you should come down to their level. Sit down yourself. Then he goes into the 2 schools of seduction. Direct game, directly approaching women, and then indirect game, which I think he prefers unless you're an advanced pickup artist, which most of us aren't. So, when you advance and approach a woman, he says the best first line is always starting with hey. He said it's not that important what your pickup line is or what your first line. What's important is you start with hey. And he talks about how he's tested this and it really doesn't matter. He's got a couple good openers after you say hey. Some that I thought were kind of funny. Are you rich chicks? Hey, I'm out meeting people today. What's your name? Are you undressing me with your eyes? This one's interesting. My girlfriend thinks you're hot. This uses social proof, to show that you're attractive to women, but and show that you're not that interested in her. And then he says you can pivot that to something else. You can hear the nice Hollywood helicopters here. All right, next, the art of small talk. I think this one's really important. He says do not get in interview mode. Most men interview women. He says here's an example. What do you do? I'm an artist. Cool. Where are you from? Switzerland. That's nice. What do you do in your spare time? I like going to movies. He says do not do that. Puts them under pressure. He said it's better to stop at each area. What do you do? I'm an artist. Then he says talk about something. He says don't be self-obsessed. This is a bad example. Don't talk about yourself. He gives a good example. What do you do? I'm an artist. Interesting. I like that. I imagine you must see the world in a different way than most people. You must be able to appreciate beauty. Then he says you can move to the next question. So kind of stopping, finding a point. He says the main goal is that you need to elicit emotions in your conversation. Connection and emotion. All right, next thing. He gives some good questions when you're on maybe a first date. Do you remember your first day at school? If you could wake up tomorrow anywhere in the world, where would it be? Are you friends mostly with men or women? Some interesting, he calls this the mid-game. Then he talks about the final step, which is creating sexual tension. He says using what they call kino, which is the art of touching, to slowly escalate in a non-threatening way. So he says when you meet a girl, instead of shaking her hand when introduced, hold it just for 3 or 4 seconds. Use high fives. He says spin her like a salsa dancer. Take her pulse. Just ways of touching her without being creepy and slowly able to kind of get her comfortable with you touching her. And lastly, text game. So this is, I think, really important for men. He talks about use only one question mark per message. Your text should be shorter than her text. Use the fire and forget. Send a text, put it down, and go do something else. Don't get obsessive. If she texts you back, take your time before responding. Don't rush right over. When you write a message, leave it as a draft for 10 minutes. They'll go back and read it again before you send it to make sure it's not embarrassing. So, interesting book. A few little tips here. This is a picture of the guy. And so if you might want to pick it up on Amazon, it's worth reading. The Natural by Richard Laurina. Talk to you soon, and hope this helps you as you on your quest to meet beautiful women.